guys, so we're in a new place. This is my car. Welcome. My house has no air conditioning, or my room doesn't actually, so I am out trying to stay cool and not die. So we get Mandy in the car. Welcome. I wanted to do my August wrap up. I wanted to talk about the books I read, give you a tiny little review. I did a couple of in-depth reviews and I will tell you when I did them, but yeah. So I read 5 books this month, which is pretty good for me right now. I used to read a lot more, but I'm just getting back in the swing of things, so pretty excited. Most of the books that I read I really liked. I think 1 or 2 I didn't really enjoy. So let's get started with Red, White, and Blue by Casey McQuiston. I rated this book 5 stars. I love this book. I found it in the romance section, which is really weird because I never read books like that, but it was beautiful and nice and smutty and super gay, and this sparks joy. We love Red, White, and Royal Blue. So I want to reread it really badly, but I'm in the middle of the readathon, so we're not going to do that. The next book I read this month it used to be called Royals, but I think it was retitled, yes, it says previously titled Royals, retitled Prince Charming by Rachel Hawkins. I read this book because I actually wanted to read Her Royal Highness, which is a companion to this series. So I read this one first. It's really cute, really adorable. I think I rated it, I rated this 4 stars because it was cute, kind of predictable, but that's fine. It's fluffy, comforting, exactly what I needed, exactly what I wanted. I think this book actually helped me get out of the reading slump. So I really enjoyed that, and I can't wait to read Royal Highness. So I'm just waiting for that to come on paperback because I'm a cheap bitch. So the next book I read this month was Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I own her other book, I just ordered The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I heard is really good. I also bought this at Target because it came with lyrics, and I love lyrics. I love beautiful words. I love beautiful lines. So this book, music, it's a beautiful lineup for me. It was loosely based on Fleetwood Mac, which, if you know anything about them, they have one of the greatest albums of all time. I know my friend Chandler would fight me on this, but Rumors by Fleetwood Mac, if you haven't listened to it, you should, because it's just so good. So good. And this really reminded me of them because when Fleetwood Mac was making Rumors, there were couples in the band. There was one that was married and one that was not, but they were breaking up at the time, and they still made this incredible album. So this reminded me of that. And I listened to Fleetwood Mac while I was reading it. It's just really good. And I wish I could listen to the music by Daisy Jones and the Six because it sounds incredible. But I rated this 5 stars. Like, I finished it, I think, in a day, which has also been a long time since I've done something like this. So, and this was almost 400 pages. 360 something? 65, yeah. So, really good. Highly recommend if you like reading. Reese Witherspoon also recommends. Look at that. I have good taste, I guess. So, yeah, I wish I could go back in time and reread it again for the first time. That's how much I enjoyed it. So I'm really looking forward to reading The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I can speak English, kind of, sort of, not really. The next book I read was Hot Dog Girl by Jennifer Deegan. I'm kind of mad about this. Okay, here we go. So this book is about a girl named Lou, and she has a crush on the pirate who works at this theme park called Magic Castle Playland, and it's a really old, run-down theme park, and it's gonna close for the summer. She doesn't know why. Like, the owner, who loves running the theme park and loves having everybody around, is closing it down for some mysterious reason. So she's trying to prevent it from being closed. So yeah, that's a book about that and shenanigans with being in love with this pirate, and that's her best friend. And the pirate's dating the princess of the theme park, and then there's a prince in there of the theme park. And so I pretty much figured out the ending before we got there, because the main character's an idiot. Like, she's average 16-year-old teenage girl, really annoying, really like insecure, but also self-centered, which is like a really bad combination because you just block out all your common sense. And this cover is so cute. Like, look at this. Like, And also there's a spoiler inside the cover, which I won't show you. There's confetti in here. Oh my goodness. That was a nice surprise. There's a little spoiler in here, so if you actually open up the book jacket, you will see the spoiler. But yeah, so I saw that coming too, and I was like, okay, this wasn't too super surprising. I just felt that, I don't know, I already knew what was going to happen. Not to toot my own horn, but it just wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't what I expected. It wasn't really cute. Honestly, the more I think about it, it kind of gives me a headache, but I also could have a headache from the heat. So yeah, I don't want to reread it ever again. And I'm very sorry, Jennifer Dugan. But if she does write other things, I think I'll pick those up because I believe in second chances. The last book I read, and I started annotating and then I just gave up, was House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig. You can see my little tabbies. I loved the richness of this book. I loved the detail. I loved she really did great world building. Like, let's see. There's, they believe in gods, and the gods are actually real, which, you know, is really helpful for you when you read this book for the first time, because if they had led with that, a lot of things would have made a lot more sense to me, because I'm still confused by this book. I might reread it one day, but yeah, she's staying here because she's beautiful. Look at her. Ooh, gorgeous. And like, the writing was just so beautiful, but the ending, I got kind of confused. It got a little convoluted for me, but I think it's just because I missed the whole, like, the gods are real here in this world. And there's a lot of salt. Ooh, salty in this book. And I'm salty about this book a little bit because it just wasn't, it confused me, and I don't want to be confused, because the first review I read on this on Goodreads was Barbie walked so this book could run. Like, how could you not love something like that? And it's pretty gory at some points. Like, it's pretty graphic. So I don't mind gore, but I wasn't anticipating the graphic. So warning for you, it's a little graphic. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I rated this girl 2 stars. She's 2 stars. And this one was 3 stars. I think I rated her 3.5 stars because I really liked it. But because I was confused, that's why she got knocked down half a star. And Goodreads doesn't really do half stars, so she got 3 stars. It was like a 3.42 instead of like a 3.56. So yeah, if she makes more books, I really want to read those. This was really good. I kind of wish we did it for the Barnes & Noble YA book club, but yeah, that's where we are. So I also wanted to talk about some movies I saw this month, because I saw a lot of really well-written, well-performed movies. So we're going to do that in the wrap-ups, because it's mine. It's my vlog, my video. I do what I want. So one of the movies I saw this month was The Peanut Butter Falcon. And it's a little indie film, and it stars Shia LaBeouf. I know what you're thinking. Shia LaBeouf, Mandy? Who are you? This isn't like the mid-2000s, whenever Transformers came out. But me and my husband Billy, we saw the trailer in the theater and he cried, which never happens. So we went to go see it, and it was really cute, really adorable. Shia LaBeouf is kind of this drifter, and he meets a 22-year-old, I want to say boy, are you a man? Not a boy, not yet a man, named Zach. He calls himself a person with Down syndrome, and he really, really, really wants to go to this wrestling school in North Carolina. He wants to be a wrestler, and he's been practicing and all this stuff, and his family abandoned him in this old folks home, which is really sad. And Dakota Johnson was in it, and I don't want to hold this against her, but I kind of wish she wasn't in 50 Shades of Grey, because that really makes me prejudice against her, which I shouldn't, because she wasn't bad in this movie. And so the 22-year-old had run away from the old folks home, and he meets up with Shia LaBeouf's character, and Shia LaBeouf's really protective of him. And when the 22-year-old, his name is Zach, I don't know if I said that, Zach feels down on himself. He's like, well, I have Down syndrome, and Shia LaBeouf's like, I don't give a shit, like, you can do whatever you want, like, maybe you'll never be a basketball player because you're not tall enough, but you can do whatever you put your mind to. And it's just really sweet, and more people should just treat people like people, not for their skin color or how they look or how they are. You know, if you're an asshole, you're an asshole. If you're not an asshole, you're not an asshole. So it was just a beautiful movie. It was really great. And also I love wrestling. Like, that's something that was in my childhood. WWE, hell yeah, WWE. So, I mean, I know their contracts are stupid, but it was a nice nostalgic thing growing up, and it was nice to see Mick Foley and Jake the Snake in this movie. I really liked it. 5 stars, 5 out of 5, 18 out of 10, like, so good. So if it happens to be playing in your theater, because I know it's a smaller film, you should definitely go see it, because it was just so good, so good. I want to see it a million times. Another movie that's not book related I saw yesterday, which is a couple of my friends' dream, but it's What If the Beatles Never Existed? And that breaks my heart, because I love the Beatles. I grew up with the Beatles. I grew up with a lot of shit. I'm very sorry. I'm not sorry. I have a lot of pop culture in my life. But, and this guy, he gets in a car accident, hits his head, and when he wakes up, nobody's heard of any Beatles songs. So he tries to remember all of their music, and he starts playing it, and he gets signed, and it becomes really huge. And he feels like he's the only person in the world who remembers the Beatles. And there's actually a couple other people who remember it too, but like, they don't have musical talent, so he's basically like singing for them. Ed Sheeran's in this movie too, which is really random. He's in it a lot more than I thought he would, and he's really funny in it. But if you like the Beatles, or if you just like music in general, it's a really good film. I think it's coming out on streaming or digital on the 9th, and coming out like to purchase on Blu-ray at the end of this month, I think. But yeah, I really like that movie. I love the Beatles, like I said, so it was cool, even though they changed Hey Jude to Hey Dude, and I wanted to cry. So mean, so rude. Keeping with the theme of music, but going back, tying into some book related things, I went to go see Rocketman, which is the biopic of Elton John. Elton John was deeply involved in it, which I really loved, and I really loved that movie. It was everything I wanted Bohemian Rhapsody to be, and I will talk about that one day. One day I will talk about it, when it doesn't hurt anymore, because I'm a big Queen fan, and I didn't like Bohemian Rhapsody, and I was a small Elton John fan, but that movie made me a bigger Elton John fan. Rocketman was very good, and it showed different sides of Elton John that normally I feel like you wouldn't have seen unless he was alive to approve it. So it was a really good film, and I didn't know I knew so many Elton John songs. He's actually coming out with his first and only autobiography next month, which I really want, and I should probably pre-order. It's called Me by Elton John, and I definitely want to read that when that comes out. The last movie I saw this month was Blinded by the Light, and it's about this Pakistani teenager living in the 80s in the UK, and I didn't realize how bad things were for people of different color in the UK or overseas. You don't really think about that, you don't learn about that in America. So it was really eye-opening, and it was really beautiful, and it really shows how music can get you through anything. And I apparently know some Bruce Springsteen songs, and I didn't know I knew Bruce Springsteen songs. Am I a Bruce Springsteen fan now? No, but I have a little bit more appreciation for him, because, like, you know, it just goes to show that music can really transcend anything, and that is an amazing thought and an amazing, beautiful thing. And that movie, Blinded by the Light, was based on a book called Greetings from Bury Park by, this name, Sarfraz Manzoor. It's called Greetings from Bury Park, which is a reference to a Springsteen song, which I believe is Greetings from Asbury Park, which is where he got his start, I want to say, but I don't know anything about Bruce Springsteen, I'm sorry. But I really like that movie. I think about it a lot, and it made me cry, like happy tears, because there's good people in the world, and they're around every corner, and you don't even think about that. And I just really liked it. And I read a little bit of the book. They had it on sale over there at the bookstore. And it reminded me of how much I love Taylor Swift, because the author, he had gone to his first Bruce Springsteen concert, and it was amazing. And this was back in the day when, like, you would have to run to get to the front, like they didn't have pit seats or whatever. And so he ran and got to the front, and he had such a good time. And then afterwards he was like, I'm so depressed, I don't know why. And he had gone with a friend, and he didn't want to talk to his friend about it because he was like, I don't want to bring him down. Like, what if he's still like on the concert high? And then he went to see his friend, and his friend was like, yeah, I've been so depressed since the concert. And he was like, oh my God, me too. And he goes, you know what we should do? And his friend goes to another concert? Yeah. So that's me with Taylor Swift at her concerts, because you get to connect with all of those people at the same time who love the same thing you do. And it's fun. It's fun, and it feels like nothing else. So I also don't like socializing. So me saying that and me being around a ton of people at once is just crazy. So anyway, that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Make good choices. Hopefully I won't be in my car next time, but no promises, because it's hot, very hot, and I'm very sad. Yeah, thank you. Make choices. Goodbye.